Can you give everybody I know, but can you give them a background of like how you got here just from like a lead standpoint? Like what were you doing before we met? And then like what's been your progression to kind of where you're at?
Yeah, so I've been in the business probably for, I guess, about a year. Let's see, what's the day? About a year, 4 months, a year and 5 months. When I first started into the business, I mean, that's all we ran was mortgage protection. So I never really did final expense. Our final expense leads that we had were from the ILC. You can buy like gold, silver, bronze, and then some ethos leads, of course, and those were always pretty hot. But we strictly stayed on ARIA leads. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they've got aged mortgage, and that's kind of where I started. So with that, it taught you how to hit some rebuttals real quick. So those were kind of tough. So those would either like make it or you would either make it or break you on that. So basically, I started off with a bunch of aged. I had eventually probably like 4 or 5 months in, I got a dialer because I was getting so many leads. And I would just have them set me appointments, and then I would just run appointments throughout the entire day. A lot of the times with those type of leads, you'd have plenty of no-shows, plenty of, I can't afford this right now, health problems, stuff like that, just because they're aged and they're just getting passed down and ran through basically. But then I started looking after that, it kind of got saturated. So then I moved over to more final expense, buying from the ILC. I started getting ethos leads and still supplementing in some age because I still had a dialer at that time. So, I had a set plan, a set amount of money I spent every single week, and I was consistent with it. And then some changed. Like Aria just went, I didn't really like it at all. It just went to poop, basically. And then I just started going straight into the final expense. And then I didn't have a dialer anymore. I just kept dialing and dialing and dialing. And I was like, man, final expense sucks. So I was like, it's not my cup of tea. I came in the business learning mortgage protection. It's a little bit more complex than final expense, but once you get the script down and once you are able to learn how to paint that picture for them, it's cakewalk. It's pretty easy. It's just like riding a bike. Um, so I think it was probably think like 7 months ago, kind of closer to the beginning of the year, I started wanting to venture out and run something more exclusive. And I know I started on your final expense leads. They're okay, but I wanted something different. I wanted to go back to mortgage, and then you hit me up. You're like, "Hey, we got mortgage protection leads now," and I was like, "Let's go, baby." So I started jumping on those, and I've seen plenty of success. I'll be honest, there might be one or two batches I've had over, I guess, the last 5 months. I think I've been running them. Everything's been solid, been smooth. Um, and I think I was looking at, to answer your question, I was looking at like 3 or 4 different vendors, and then I got on a call with you, and you were just straight up with me, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Let's run it. Let's give it a shot. And then when you hit me up about the mortgage, I was all for it.